Hey everybody, this is your potentially last electronics invention activity guided by me. So this is really about 3D printing and how are you going to actually get the thing that you've made in Tinkercad, that object that hopefully maybe is going to help you with your invention or whatever it might be. How are you actually going to get that to me so that I can print it off and send it back to you? And so on these resources, let me actually share my screen with you so you can see what I'm looking at. All right. On the website, there are these resources under this Invention Activity 3. And there's a video and a text tutorial on how to get started with Tinkercad. And they do, I think, a much better job of running you through how to use Tinkercad than I ever could. And so I'm going to assume that you've already watched those, that you've already gone into Tinkercad, you've played around with it yourself, and you've made something that you now want to print. So hopefully you've made something that is going to be useful to your invention, something that you want to test out, something that you want to print. And so it's sitting here. So this is my example of maybe I want to print this off. Maybe I really need this for my invention. There's a couple things I need you to do in order to send this to me. And the first thing I want you to do is make sure that this is the right size. So one thing you can do is that you can check this with a ruler. You can bring this ruler out and you can set it wherever you want. This ruler can be set automatically. This is set to, let's edit this graph. This is usually set to millimeters when you first start. So if you just got logged in and you haven't changed the settings, this is set to millimeters. And so if you're familiar with millimeters, you can use those, but I'm guessing most people are going to be familiar with inches. So what you're going to do is go down to the bottom, edit your grid, and you're going to change this. In order from millimeters, change this over into inches. And do we have their Ultimate Maker? No. This is about, I would say, the width and the height, 7.5. That's about the size of our 3D printer. So our 3D printer is about this wide, about this long, and about that high. So you only have, you can't 3D print a giant thing. So think about if you need a giant part, maybe you can break it into two, design both pieces, get both pieces printed, and then you could glue those together. So hopefully you've got your part, and now we need to figure out whether that part is the right size. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on this part, and you've got your ruler out there. And so I can actually see how tall this is, 3.543 inches. I can see how wide this is, 1.8 inches. I can see kind of the length is another inch. So I just want to make sure that I've actually got this to the right size. And then once you know that this is at the right size, the next thing you're going to do is you're actually going to export this and send it to me to actually print. So up here on the top right, there's an export, and that's where you're going to export your 3D object. And you're going to export it as a .stl. So click on .stl, and that will automatically download that object into your downloads folder. So it's saved in your downloads folder, and now you need to send that 3D object to me so that I can print it off and I can send it to you. To do that, the easiest thing to do would be to create an email. Send it to me, devin.ryder@lowerbrillresearch.org. Title it 3D printer, 3D print or invention. Let me know, hey Devin, can you print this for me? I'm going to attach this. So go down to the bottom. This is wherever you want to attach something in Gmail. It's right down here at the bottom. So you're going to attach file. You're going to go to your downloads folder. You're going to find the .stl that you just downloaded. You're going to double click it, and that's going to attach it to this email. Then you're gonna press send. I'm gonna receive that email from you, and I can actually see, like, here's the file that you want printed. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna download this, I'm gonna throw it on the 3D printer, and I'm gonna print it. So remember, your object can only be about this big. Think about, make sure you check it over. You might even want to check it over with me before you send it. Just make sure, hey, this is going to work. But that's the process for exporting a .stl, attaching it to an email, sending it to me. I will print it off on the 3D printer, and I will send it back to you so that you can test it out as your new invention and see how well it works. Good luck.